As I went to other villages and mountain areas, instead of getting rid of those 22, I seemed to accumulate more.
Before long, dividing his time between Thailand and Australia, David was supporting 85 Aka children. It was an enormous task.
For 2 years I was trying to find somebody that would help, and I couldn't. Everywhere I went, I couldn't find anybody. In the Thai community, in the Australian community, I couldn't find people to really get behind this situation and help.
Frustrated and overwhelmed, David didn't know where to turn, until one day he found a source of almost endless strength.
The real key for me to devote my life to this project was when I met Asa.
Word of David's struggle reached Asa, who had graduated from vocational school and was working to support her family. She was moved by his dedication.
When David started helping and rescuing these children, I compare these children to me and thinking, if I were them, you know, if I was them and nobody give me the same opportunity, then, you know, 16, 17, 18, 20, I would be dead.
Although they came from different worlds, their love for the Aka children brought them together, and within months they were married. With few resources, they camped near Asa's village, trying to educate the children, hoping for a miracle. But finally, exhausted and virtually penniless, they had no choice but to leave for Australia. During the next 3 years, they managed to support a handful of the orphans. The rest, the children of the Golden Triangle, were once again homeless.
When you start with Rotary, good things happen. Rotary is ordinary people working together to clean the environment, stop disease, and accomplish other extraordinary things. Learn more at Rotary.org.
I went through deep emotional downers because I was frustrated because of my own ability wasn't great enough to address and do anything.
David and Asa had built a successful life in Australia, but they could not forget the Aka children they were forced to leave behind.
We started to talk about how we could overcome the problems.
There's no opportunity for education, no opportunity to basic health care.
With the money they had saved, they returned to Thailand and established a refuge near the town of Mae Soi. Within weeks, their Aka training center was nearly overwhelmed by scores of dispossessed children. Australian donors paid for books, clothing, and food, but there was no money for permanent shelter. And a little over a year after returning to the Aka children, a fierce storm almost destroyed their compound.
I used to get angry because nobody wanted to help these people.
It's impossible just for me and David to do this.
After hearing about the children's plight, Thai Rotarian Pradit Takarngrangsarit and Australians John Lawrence and Desmond Woods visited the training center.
When Rotary came into this situation, we were living in grass huts.
Although the huts had been rebuilt, the situation was bleak. But the seeds had been planted, and the following spring, Lawrence invited David and Asa to speak at a Rotary conference in Canberra, Australia. In one weekend, they raised more than $20,000, and they made thousands of new friends.
Rotarians have got a fantastic network in all sorts of places and cities and towns, and they raise awareness, they raise funds, and then they come in with teams and actually implement the project.
After 6 months of planning, volunteers from 9 Australian Rotary clubs arrived in Misway. Just a month later, they were joined by Thai Rotarians and a team from British Columbia.
2 years ago when I first came here, hearing about this hill tribe and knowing that just some labor and some organization through our clubs and districts that we could do something led me here and keeps me coming back.
Soon, the grass huts had been replaced by 5 permanent dormitories.
They gave us the facility that we were able to take in 200 children straight away.
John Robertson volunteered at the ACA Training Center in 2003. When he returned in 2005, he was amazed at its transformation.
More dormitories, a better kitchen, better equipment. Rotary clubs from around the world, Singapore, Australia, United States and Canada, have all contributed both hands-on resources and money.
Everybody attention! My favorite part of a long day here is the physical labor, working with the children, listening to them in the morning and at night sing, and feeling so good that we made a difference just in one child's life.
Working alongside the Rotarians are the ACA children themselves.
The ACA people are not looking for handouts, they're not beggars. They love to work, they're building their own schools, they're building their own medical clinics. So that the children are virtually building their own future.
Sustainability for agriculture, for animal husbandry, medical, whatever. They can bring all of that knowledge back to their villages.
We're training the young teenage children how to cook, how to sew, how to make cane furniture. We're teaching the boys how to build permanent buildings out of blocks and concrete and steel.
Just as permanent is the effect that the ACA children have on the visitors.
They're so enthusiastic and easy to teach and good with their hands. And just to be able to help somebody in this situation, and we're getting more out of it than we're giving.
I'm hooked. The first time we came a year ago, it set the seeds to change my life into something quite different, and the second time even better, with more kids here and more opportunity to work on the projects. Just makes you just glow, just feel wonderful.
A lot of Rotarians are also sponsoring children. They form bonds and relationships with their kids and help to carry on that education and training for many, many years.
But the need is great, and it will take many years to break the cycle of poverty and abuse.
You know, we are giving them the tools to be proud of who they are, but at the same time to, you know, to integrate yourself with other races, with other people groups.
Still, in only 5 years, David, Asa, and the ACA children have made great progress.
We were just looking at some videos that we shot a couple of years ago. They're in rags, they're dirty, they had sores all over them, and just in the last couple of weeks we've been videoing the children here. It just brings tears to my eyes to see the change in the children from a couple of years ago. It doesn't cost a lot of money and it doesn't cost a lot of effort, and the more people that get involved, the burdens can be taken off these children's lives, and they can have a life, they can have a future.
I'm one of the lucky ones. You know, somebody did give me this opportunity to be educated, and I am now able to make choices, and I want to give the same thing to these children. That's what drives me and touched my heart so deeply that I want to help these kids.